because if you listen to the Democratic Convention,
We are now on the Bottom Line Live. Welcome to the Bottom Line discussion. Tonight, we're going to have a guest here. Jay Randy will be with us tonight to discuss Mama Liberia. Our Moore comrade is in Chicago, my co-host tonight. Abo, how are you?
I am great. Thank you, Lord Cholobe. We find out our beautiful weather in Chicago. The sun is shining. Great Lake.
Right. I mean, you guys stay enjoying the sunshine. For some reason, the weather today have dropped in the UK. No sun, just one of those cool days in Liberia. People can say it's friendly weather. That's the kind of weather we have today here. So it's good to be here.
We have all 17 years and the 4th and the 5th and the 5th.
Wow. Yeah, so the other guys will be joining us soon. We'll have Rennie. So while we wait and while we time to share the show, we'll lead to our traditional music about and then while we wait for Jay Rennie to join the show, we'll play our traditional music. We'll ask our viewer that joining us to kindly share the show. It'll be fascinating. Jay Rennie is a straight talker. And tonight, we're looking forward to a very fruitful discussion. So on that note, please share the show. And let me see how I can bring this music on because we're going to discuss Mama Liberia and Takunje made a very good music. They lied to us. And that music seems to suit every government that come to Liberia. So let me see if I can get hold of Mr. Takunje on this. Please share the show.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber. Stop sleeping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta whip us some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, so the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the ball. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that's why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the borough. I said no one to trust. My people don't want to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer. No work for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. They lie. The people fool us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the forever.
With the promises that let us do all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw it frustrate us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the tendencies to be? You see, we just tell you that why we both tell you. But you fool us. You screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask.
The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie.
People fool us, the people lie to us, the government can steal, and all that good thing Takunje said. Welcome to the Bottom Line Discussion. Tonight we'll have a guest on the show. He's in the background. We'll bring him on shortly. Before we bring our guest on, about that music, talk to me for a few minutes about that music.
Well, the music is a music for the century, every society like ours. We need a revolutionary spirit to keep the people conscious, to keep the people alive, and to demand the rightful ownership of the society and the benefit they deserve as the owner of a nation and a group of people. We deserve nothing less than what we own and what we deserve to get from our labor. We are the farmers' children, the taxpayers' children. We demand the streets to remain clean, good, and education opportunities, jobs, and beautiful and wonderful places of amusement. We need them. We need sanitation around us. We need our health to be protected on a good, clean environment. We do pay taxes for everything. We have all the revolutionary structure in place to make our nation a progressive nation. We have the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Agriculture, the police department, the police system, the military, the security, the road construction network company, the powder works. So there's no need for us to suffer from anything. We got higher institution of learning, lawyers, doctors, security, lawyers, everyone, the accountant, the bookkeeper, the business people, business experts, all being trained. So we see no reason why our nation to be lagging behind. So we congratulate that musician and that music hall for the century.
A music hall for the century. So getting straight into the show, Jay Rennie is in the back. We're going to bring him on. Welcome to the Bottom Line Discussion. This is the long-awaited Jay Rennie. He's on the show tonight. I can see him. Welcome, brother. It's been a while. You muted.
Yes, how you guys doing there?
Yeah,
Great.
we good. Good.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Bottom Line, where your people will hear you in a view to promote and motivate their cause for freedom, justice, and development.
Yeah, thank you, Albert. Thank you so much. I hope you guys, how have you guys been so far? I mean, it's been a long time. We went through the election season, a lot of controversy taking place, everybody on their own side. So have we reconciled, have we recollected our thought now? Because I think we have a government in power now, and I think things are looking a little bit saggier. So I'm not here to interview you guys, but I just want to hear from you guys. I don't want to hear from you guys so far. So
yeah, the beauty of democracy, people can have opposite views, but then after everything, they all come back together. So that's the beauty of democracy.
right.
Yes, we all went through all that. We all supported different people, but then in the end, well, we have a winner and a guy in office now. I think that's where our discussion going to lead.
Absolutely.
So absolutely, yeah. Jay Rennie, this is Comrade Albert Moore. He lived in Chicago. He one of our co-hosts here too. So yeah, so Albert, you want to start or you want me to start the ball rolling?
Oh, well, he just had a question how we see after the elections and what have you. Yes,
Yeah. So
at the end of a democracy,
go on.
yes? Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
At the end of a democratic process, one person has to emerge victorious to the seat of the presidency of the country. That we know well. But surprisingly enough, our expectations are falling below the expectation of a society very anxious to live from poverty to developing states.
Yeah.
So we are anxious to see a better side of the administration to tell us the promises that were made to us to rescue our nation and lead it into development.
You more. The promises. I think the song you guys just played mentioned that too. And that song doesn't belong to any government. It is a song that I see as a promise reminder. That's what that song is to me. Yeah.
Great. Yes.
But Jay Rennie, before we get into our main topic tonight, although we all went our opposite side, you supported Weir, I supported Cummings, and we were defeated in the process. And I see the CDC are bouncing back here and there. What about this? How far? What is CDC is up to?
Well, I think that's a very good question, and thank you so much for asking that question. What the CDC is up to? The CDC has not clearly defined to the Liberian people how significant this defeat has been, and what an opportunity that have been put to waste, and what is currently happening in the country. They have not clearly defined those things, and what I see happening is like they're still living in a dream world, and they have not woken up yet. So they continue to feel that, oh, tomorrow is election, so let's try to make noise today so we can win tomorrow. But that's not the case. The CDC has acquired so many things over the last 6 years: diplomatic era, leadership era, community engagement era, a division within that I describe as an internal division that have been exposed to the external side of things. All these things, they are yet to put them together. And every time on my show, I often call them out to make sure that they get their act together. But it seems for, I think, Mr. Weir, because one thing about Liberian politics, when you're in the front of the line, as soon as they cut you off, you go back in the line. And you know, what I mean is, if you're a standard bearer, you lose the election, you go back in the line. It's not like here, when Hillary Clinton lost, they said, see, you're not coming back here. I got lost. See, we're not coming back here. But in Liberia, I mean, maybe they had limited capacity of people. So the people always had 9 lives according to politics. And, you know, when your 9 life run out, I mean, when you die, then we'll find a replacement. And, you know, so Mr. Weir, as head of the party, I don't know, he hasn't realized that he was defeated for so many reasons, and the reasons need to be examined, and they need to put in place a corrective action to address these things. Up to now, the CDC hasn't done anything. So for me, I'm still asking them this question: where is the CDC post-defeat autopsy report? Because that autopsy report would tell us politically what went wrong, why it went wrong, what can we do to fix it, to restructure. They have not done that. And I continue to remind them, Paul. So from what I see, one of the reasons I think they're having the comfort zone is I think, and I'm just thinking, I think Mr. Weir has figured out things like, oh, there are certain era in our country political history where we always had two parties. And today is Unity Party, even though yesterday was ours. Guess what? The after tomorrow will be ours. So as far as restructuring, changing anything, we're not going to change anything. But here's the mistake that they are overlooking. The world has changed. We have social media that is playing a very important role to expose these things.
Yeah.
You have people on your side. However, for every year that comes, new age group are graduating to be part of the voting society, and they are learning things. So they don't understand that incremental growth as it relates to the population of people. And that's where the mistake coming from. Because a young man who was 15 years old, when he turned 18, he's not going to play to your tune, because by then his mindset will be different. But again, the party has not done anything to show to the people of Liberia that they are ready for a change. We saw sanctions, all right? We saw poor performances. None of the things have been done. So what they are up to, I don't know. But I would say they are in a dream world. They're still dreaming. Take that, will wake up one day.
They're still dreaming. So because they're still dreaming, and we were told and were defeated, me and you were defeated by the Unity Party, and there were a lot of promises made. So we now transition to the main topic that we're here to discuss. How is the Unity Party that promised a lot of things in Liberia? So my question would be as simple as straightforward. So I would say, J. Rennie, our President Boakai policy and initiative effectively addressed the issue he promised in Liberia to start with?
Well, first of all, I think the question is a way advanced, but it's yes, you, but I think Mr. Boakai really realized himself as he sat down to look at himself in the mirror and said, I'm president of Liberia. I don't think he had done that before I even go into his policy. He has not realized that he is president of Liberia, because the first thing you have to do is to believe in yourself, to give yourself that self-confidence that I'm ready for the cause. He has not done that. Had he done so, things that Mr. Boakai would have started to do firstly is to reconcile the country. All right? That means that we're bringing the team together. Oftentimes, you guys are in Europe. You are in Europe, Paul, and of course, I've been in America here, but we see one thing that is common among these activities called football or soccer. At the end of the game, I don't care if you beat the man 10-0, he will reach out to you, he will shake hand, hug you, and he'll try to motivate you that today is our day. You lose today, however, tomorrow will be your day. Nevertheless, I'm still your friend. Mr. Boakai is yet to reconcile the political leader who participated in the election. The fact that he's leader of the country, rebuilding the country after this political rivalry, he has not done that so far. That means that the country is still divided politically. He is the leader. Whatever he says, whatever he does, everyone behind him will follow suit. Since the election ended, Mr. Boakai has not called on Mr. Weir. He has not called on Alexander Cummings and say, hey guys, we need to meet and talk. And there are a lot of heavy lifting we have to do here. So I really want to see how you guys can help in the process. And we saw Obama reaching out to George Bush, and we saw Obama reaching out to Bill Clinton, and and things like that. So Mr. Boakai, up to present, has not been able to reconcile the country. So the country is still divided politically. So as far as the policy goes, Mr. Boakai is yet to tell us what framework is the arrest going to be driven through. What framework? Because having this arrest is like you go into the market, getting a list of things. But what are you going to cook that the children will eat and enjoy? Whether it is going to be cooked in a pot, or it's going to be baked, or it's going to be fry, we don't know yet. All we know is Mr. Boakai is doing this because Mr. Boakai is doing that. So let Mr. Boakai tell us what is his national development agenda. Because remember, when he ran, he didn't run on any platform. Because not only he will be running on any record, because anyone about poverty reduction strategy. And she said by the year 2030, they should have created a middle class. Did Boakai buy into that? Absolutely not. Why? Because when Mr. Boakai was campaigning, he never mentioned any deliverable that he and Eddie managed to bring to the people or give to the people of Liberia. He said he coming up with his arrest. So we accepted the arrest. In fact, he added another hour to the arrest because apparently he left the other hour behind, added another one to it.
Yeah, right.
The question here is, where is Mr. Boakai's national development plan? That national development plan addresses every challenges within the arrest, and it should show to us which ministry agency that will be implementing the arrest, and it only come with his framework. So question here is, where is Mr. Boakai's national development agenda? Every country has that. He doesn't have it.
Right. Now, Albert, do you want to come in quickly before?
Well, with a question or
With your question, please.
okay. Mr. Ronnie, if you speak of presenting yourself as the winner of the election, the president of the nation, that you are saying President Boakai have not shown himself as the president of the Republic of Liberia. What do you expect him to actually do in the various fields, like looking at the running of the government by the way of rule of law, the economy, the various programs that will motivate the citizen? How do you want to define him as such?
Well, I'll piggyback from the last question, and I will button it up rather than button it down to your question.
Okay.
Yeah. So, how do I perceive Mr. Boakai to be? I think Mr. Boakai at this moment is more about creating division within the country, and the division is even spreading within the different institutions of learning and the institution that provide services. I mean, the government. So, instead of Mr. Boakai uniting the country, because the first thing to do in any competition is to unite the people. You often see that if I just go in the Olympic, whoever win the gold will be in the middle, and then you have the bronze and the silver together. They're bringing these people out to show to the audience that they were competing, but here they are. And at the end of the thing, I mean, at the end of the celebration, where it's the national anthem, everybody will turn to each other and get each other a hug. They are sending that signal to the incoming generation that competition is not about division. It's just about who is the best in competing. So as you watch us, make sure that you be on the top of your game. Like I said, to Paul's question, the country is still divided. And in order for us to move forward, we need to unite. A divided country cannot make progress. Mr. Boakai has not shown that to the Liberian people, neither to the international community. He continued to listen to people who don't have any feelings, any future within our country. You see, I will tell you that in the story of the Bible, there was a king who decided to challenge the love of a baby. One woman, according to the Bible, was the actual child of that baby. The other was not. And the king said, let's split the baby. But the woman who really owned the child said, let the child go to the woman. And the king said, according to the Bible, this child belongs to you. There are people in the Boakai administration, as old as Boakai, who understand the past of our country. They know what we came from. They know what we've been going through. They should be the last within the current generation we find ourselves to be supporting divisions, to be supporting behavior that has the propensity to take us back. They should be the last. to do this thing. But guess what? They are the champion of these things. They are encouraging this president to carry out this behavior. So bottom line here is, and thank God the show is called the bottom line, these guys are not ready to move the country forward. They are coming and they came to create division. So to your question, Mr. Boakai is not setting any tune that will change anything at all. That's why it is. And so you got a long way to go. Mr. Boakai is not operating on any plan. Mr. Boakai does not have any agenda. People get up in the morning. They don't know whether their job is safe. And what does that do for the people in the country? At the political level, he has not united the political party. At the institutional level, he's creating anxiety. He's making people afraid. He's taking people's blood pressure up. Liberia, the government is the highest employer. He's not putting in place responsible decisions. He's not putting in place a strategy or plan. There's nothing wrong with you laying people off, all right? You have voluntary services to lay people off. People should volunteer themselves to say, I want to be laid off with some severance package. He's not thinking about these things. So everything Mr. Boakai is doing, he is like the kid in the gas station, but he far away from the actual scene. But every time he struck a map, boom, something like, say, oh, I'm enjoying it. Boom, something like. But one of that strike might likely find a way back to where he is, and the country may erupt. This is where Mr. Boakai is carrying things here. So he is not someone who is ready, wanting to bring peace. He's not making the conversation about the issue. He's making the conversation about the insecurity, the instability. Should we be discussing these things yet? No. We should be looking at Mr. Boakai and ongoing projects, comparing it with we are and Ellen. But what are we talking about? We are talking about human element that is creating discomfort in the society, which is part of our progress. But our key things, economic initiative, health and education initiative, sustainability initiative, none of those things are on the table for discussion right now because of the way Mr. Boakai is conducting himself.
None is on the table right now. So we know that George Weah government were accused of employing people from the Southeast. Today, we found out that 17 cabinet members, 17 are all from Lofa County. What your take on this?
Very bad for our country. Very, very bad. It just further escalate. It further prove that Boakai is a divider. Because if you say something happens, then what is the next approach to things? You see, President Boakai is the pioneer generation that is now showing to the people of Liberia why Liberia became the way it is. They men lived through the two-week party administration. He saw by that time what we had the division of us versus them. We had the elite class and we had the additional class. He lived in our era where for 130 years we saw few handful of people ran the country. And what happened in the end? A large portion of our people remain poor, uneducated, and many communities and counties remain underdeveloped because of that system. It created division. We came to 1980, we saw a piece of that with Samuel Carando trying to use the same mentality of bringing his folks in from his county. It led us to war. Boakai also lived through that. Today, Boakai is president. Even if people say we are bringing people in, Boakai has 42-year experience. What is that 42-year experience teaching the younger generation who heard about what happened in the past versus what Boakai is doing today? It proved nothing. It proved nothing in the sense that Boakai is repeating things that people are now saying, this thing we experienced it in the past. So people who experienced it in the past and see the behavior of Joe Boakai, it doesn't show any sign of improvement. And Boakai is doing it, I have to say that he is tone deaf. He is blind. He does not have any sense of feelings. But this is a man who served with Toba. This is a man who served with Dole and saw all these things. So then why is he coming up with that kind of behavior? These are things that destroy our democracy. Because the reason we went to war in 1989 is we tried everything. We tried everything, and because it didn't work, our democracy came down crouching. So we're rebuilding ourselves. Why did we go to war? I know I'm often And I mean, I often use this logical explanation to my audience. There is always a why and a how. You see, one of the reasons why the United States did not succeed in Vietnam, the reason why Russia did not succeed in Afghanistan, they knew there was a war, but they never taught the soldier how to win and fight the war. So there's always a how and a why. Boakai wants to be president, but he does not understand why he wants to be president. And that why contains so many things that took our country to war. And in order to move that why in a positive direction, Boakai should understand how we should proceed. Now, if you just ask the question, why are you asking the question? Because you're looking at Boakai and cabinet, you're looking at his structure, and you're looking at it like, this is not right. This is not right. So you are asking yourself now, why did he become president? Because the way how he's doing things, it does not define the true meaning of why. I mean, of how. Because this how is telling you that this is how our country went to war. This is how we destroy our country. This is how this man proceeding. No, all these things there are wrong. But guess what? A vast majority of our people don't understand these things. And that's why giving Boakai the ability to do these things. So Boakai is not here to move the country forward. Boakai is here to take the country backward. And there are people who align with the values. And when you look at people that align with the values, they don't have 10 years to live. They don't have 20 years to live. They are not planning for the future. All right? They are not planning for the future. In the United States here today, election is coming up in the not too distant future. Whether the Democrat or Republican, they are fighting for one thing. Their supporters and their family. Whoever wins, their interest is to provide an opportunity for the next generation to thrive, to live. In Liberia, the people around Boakai, they claim to support a man with 42-year experience. But why in that 42-year experience, Joe Boakai does not understand that when you try to troublize your cabinet, you're creating instability in the country. Is that the legacy that Boakai want to leave with us? I thought that legacy brought the war to our country. But Boakai now is bringing our legacy back and say, look, in how much, if I cannot achieve anything, I have to troublize the government. And mind you, there are some people today who are watching. And guess what? They're going to reference what Boakai is doing as a cause or reason for doing what they're doing in the future or what they'll do in the future. For example,
but Jay Rennie, isn't that the promises that were made to the people of Liberia that because everybody, most of the cabinet members, according to them, came from the southeast. So he was coming to correct that mistake that was done by the Weah-led government. So why repeat the same thing? And this is a concern in Liberia.
I'm not too sure by proportion. I'm not too sure Weah has many people from the southeast. I doubt it. I know. So if that was the reason, then people would have been crying because it was only a few handful of people. And matter of fact, and I'm not here to support CDC here, so no CDC person should be pumped out here. But because you're asking the question, I think where the conversation was really focused, it was within the legislative branch. We have Buffer Chimba from Maryland County. We have Albert Chie from, or how they call the place here, from
Grand Crew.
From Grand Crew, all right? Yeah. Geographic are from the southeast. But if you look at it technically, there were other lawmakers from different counties that elected those guys, that voted for those guys to be in there, right? See, where Fanati Kupa want to be the speaker, right? Nobody Kanga want to be, or whatever wet flesh he got on. So, but when you look at the structure of the cabinet, there were not many people from the southeast that were within the Weah government. Weah may have few people that he selected as a matter of choice. However, it's not in any way, shape, and form compared to what Boakai is doing now. If you give anyone who understands the political, the travel, or geography of our country, you give them Boakai list and you give them Weah list. When they look at Boakai list, they will say, no, this thing, something is fundamentally wrong in key areas. So the excuse that they are giving does not justify why they are doing what they are doing, because they are even destroying things. And for the most part, it shouldn't be Joseph Boakai. You know, I don't know, maybe Liberians, when it comes to experience, they define it differently than you guys are in Europe and we in America. But when we say somebody coming to the table with vast experience. We see that person as an asset. We see that person as an added value. That means that whatever we have seen in the past is going to come differently. So with Boakai coming with a number of people from his tribe, it kind of showed that Boakai is nothing but a tribalistic human being, and it showed that we are kind of balancing up. Because when you look at the CDC structure, you have got a Sir Joseph, you have got a Thomas Fala, Jefferson Koji, and then even the Cooper Crab man, these guys were all in there. The people had their government or inclusion that came from different counties and stuff like that. All right. So for him to come, for them to use that as an excuse, I just think it had no empirical truth to that. They just intended to do what they wanted to do. I just think that it was their intention.
Right. So before our coming to our viewers, those of you that joining us for the first time, kindly click on the like button. This is the bottom line discussion. We're based in Europe. We've been around for a while now. So although we're not big platform, but we're always around. After the show, a lot of people follow. So our come in.
Yes, Ronnie, I have the question for you. We have 3 equal branches of the Liberian government for as we speak. We say that. And for me, constitutionally, I have different interpretation of the 3 branches of government. People normally say 3 equal branches of the Liberian government. But I know my constitution says the first branch of the Liberian government is the legislature. The second, the executive, and the third is the judiciary. They have distinct function. I feel, and not that I feel, but I know by the Constitution, natural interpretation, the first branch of government serves as the direct representative of the people into the government. That branch of government acts on behalf of the people in the terms of impeachment or making laws for the people for the safety of the country. Now, in that branch, the first branch, the judiciary, the legislature, in there we had 25 representatives from the former ruling party. We had 18 independent candidates. The present ruling parties, you have 10 people in there. Now, looking at that alone, the legislature said as it has oversight responsibility of the Liberian government. Some people say they are equal. No, the executive is subject to the legislature. It also subject to the judiciary. For example, 2 slabs are going into the Boakai administration face. They were removing the tender position without regard to the law. The Supreme Court said no. It went ahead again.
Paul, I'm not sure, yeah.
What the second one? It went ahead in recent time to remove the executive governor of the bank, of the National Bank, the Central Bank of Liberia.
Comrade, make your question short. Make it short.
No, we clearly states that the executive branch of government has no power, no administrative power to take any action in or at the National Bank. Now, all of these people, the tribal group of people were appointed, and our legislators, who's supposed to be our representatives, to remove to impinge the executive if the person who says they're not applying the rule of law, abuses on the nation. They are there and they allow and they approve or order these appointments of the travelers president. So how do you look at it? Are our representatives, they are there for us or they are there for the brown envelope as a culture from the early administration?
Well, thank you. That was a very detailed explanation. I really enjoyed that. And I mean, I love people being very detailed. You know, for me, it's better to over provide information than to under provide information, because if you make it plenty, people will select. So thank you so much, Albert, for that. The way I see the three branches of government is like they triangulate. And you know, they triangulate. Yeah, the Atlantic slave trade, people from Africa go to Europe, you America come to Europe, to Europe or Africa, and then they go away. So, like you rightly said, the first branch of government is the representative of the people, and that is the legislative branch. They have the Senate and they have the people. They are the voice of the people. And that's why the authority of legislating law comes from that branch. Because whatever the people say, whatever they tell them, is what they look at and develop a law. And when the law is passed down, then it's up to the executive branch to begin to farm programs that will be implemented through those laws so that it can meet the people's needs. And then the judiciary branch is there to just watch the game. The judiciary branch is like a police officer between the legislative branch, the people, and the executive. If something go wrong, they come into play. But of lately, what we are seeing, the legislative branch the judiciary branch has not been very forthcoming with stuff. They are not been policing things. So they are giving the executive branch to override some of these things. And then, of course, the people who legislated the law themselves, they are laying back on the situation and giving the legislative branch to execute their own constitutional power. What does that show? It shows that our three branches of government has so many deficiencies. They are weak. They are being compromised. And what does that mean for our democracy? It means our democracy has been compromised. And what will come out of the idea or the behavior of compromise? People will not have trust, the lack of trust. Now, when it comes to individual party, as you mentioned, CDC have more folks in there. But the question here is CDC a party with an agenda, a goal, like in the American Republican? When Obama was about to leave office, Albert, he from your state, he had new coach that he wanted to name as Supreme Court Judge. Mitch McConnell then came and said, look, my man, you got a few months here. You're not going to put nobody here. That was a Republican mandate that, look, Obama had a few months to go. He's not going to put anybody in this part or the open space here. We saw from the Boakai nomination, for example, this guy who is now the Minister of Internal Affairs, all right?
Yes.
This man, all right, was seen intimidating a border agent, a guy who was simply doing his job. Mr. Numade got her and said he got his boys, he's going to murder men, and he's going to do things. The man went to the Senate confirmation hearing. You had CDC lawmakers sitting over there after the man made that threat, and they did not say anything. Albert, to your question, these guys are not representing the people. They are only representing their interest. Because the way the Senate is structured, let me tell your audience here, if you become an advocate in the Senate, you will not be on the chopping committee. What are some of those chopping committees? You will be on the board of LPRC, MPA, RIA. Will you want to risk your opportunity or you want to succumb to the status quo? That is where the country is being driven by these guys. So whether it's Nathaniel McGill or any other CDC senator or lawmaker, they're not going to say anything, including Sir Joseph. But it's different in other countries because they truly represent the people. One of the divisions there too is people in Liberia, they claim to be partisan, but the understanding of being a partisan is not there. They are only partisan by associations. They are only partisan by, a guy who represents Real Madrid. Under no condition he will want for Real Madrid to be defeated by any club because of his interest. In politics, it doesn't work that way. Politics is about my interest and the interest of my children. They don't understand anything. So by association, by identity, is when you will find many partisans taking side. But to understand that, look, Nathaniel McGill, Sir Joseph, and all the other senators and representatives, this is our position here. Humanity is not going to be in there because he did this. They don't believe in that. They don't believe in that. So that means that all the political parties, they are only using our people to get their people elected. And like I often say, until Liberians realize that politicians in our country, they only come to them to get elected. And if they do get elected, they put themselves first and put them last. And that last will only come after 6 years or 9 years. That's when they will start considering them. And this is a trend that continues to go forward. And I often ask them, you might want to look at yourself, re-examine yourself. After ending 12 years, you supported a unity party. What did you get out of that? That you say, when Eddie became president, I will appoint A. Right now, I'm at point A, point 2, or I'm at point B. We were there for 6 years. After we are led, seditions, Liberian, where were you when we are started? And where are you today? Because at the end of the day, every lawmaker, every senator, you will see the difference in their life. Just by looking at them, you say, oh, look at the guy, he changed. And then not to talk about the real estate some of them own, the financial aspect of it, and the lifestyle had changed. But what about the people who brought them to power? So this is a rude awakening discussion that we're having here. But it's unfortunate that many Liberians today, they are on two sides, the opposition or the imposition. We don't have independent-minded people. So you either for or you against. And that support is based on party identity. Liberians don't vote on issue. They vote on party identity. And that's why when you come to them and say your leader is wrong, you might be far away to say the kind of thing because the association with that party becomes so emotional that they want to enrich to hate you. But instead of voting on issue, because when you vote on issue, trust me, your mindset will be different compared to what you voted on party line. So that's it there. They are not in the interest of the people of it. They are only in the interest of themselves. That's it.
Okay. Wow. They are only in the interest of themselves. Alva, you want to follow up?
Oh, well, with a follow-up question from what you are giving so far with much clarity, can we say that Liberia once again have reached the point of state collapse at the time in the 80s when the demagogues of the ruling party, the student political party known as the two-way party, stolen from President James Raw. They killed him. He was a role, but they took a political party to be the one and ruling party of the nation. That political paradox, nobody had defined it in Liberia. That period reached in Liberia. They were uncompromising and tolerant to agree, even for a major election in Monrovia could not take place because they didn't want to lose it. That clearly, it was one of the highest political abuses that hit the hearts of the Liberian people. And their tears were on the street and the cry was being heard in heaven. And God had to make a change by the intervention of the military. Have we reached that level where in the modern era where we have over 22 political parties participating in the political process in Liberia, people from various backgrounds are elected to the House of Representatives, the Senate, and yet we see the dictatorial nature of the executive over everything, even a criminal, uncodified. For example, the current Liberian foreign minister lied with her domestic credential that she graduated from Connington University. And she was challenged by the graduate of the year she mentioned, and she could not prove it. People say, yes, it was true, you were a student. According to her, you never graduated. And yet, the Senate, from various backgrounds, they sat down and put that kind of disgraceful person at the head of the Liberian foreign ministry. Of course, social media, the global world have received the information that the particular woman lied, but yet she was confirmed. So the question here, do we have state collapse in Liberia as we speak? And once again, we need the intervention of the United Nations to take Liberia as a protectorate territory until we can settle Liberia, or do we need a military?
No, no. To be honest with you, Liberia is still owned by the United States. And Liberia is still owned by the United States. And the way I would describe that to you is it's like you live on a ranch. You got a big yard. You got a big yard, and they dog been in the house all the time. But because you are extended the yard, you open the front door, the back door, the door just running around until you're free, but it's still within our fence. So Liberia is not free. Liberia is still owned by the United States. There are things that the United States will say that those in the high hierarchy of our government will say yes to, and they will not say no to. With that being said, to the first question about how we reach a constitutional crisis, of course, we are experiencing constitutional crisis with Joseph Boakai, but not to the extent. And if you look at that on the category of severity, it's a low severity right now, but it's working its way into becoming a medium severity. And of course, if it continues, it will become a high severity, and then things could go bad. So right now it's between a little bit of green going into yellow. We're still far away from red. How is that happening? Well, Boakai, as I said, has no direction of his leadership right now. People are there doing things based on their mindset. And oh, you're in power, this is our time. Kind of reminded me of the war, 1989 war. The guy will see the guy say, oh yeah, you were the janitor over there, you didn't give me my this, I had to kill you. Or you're my teacher, you gave me failing grade, I gotta get rid of you. It is coming, but in a different form this time around, where people are targeting supporter of the CDC, but they don't understand that these people are Liberians. Now, like you said, Edwin J. Raw, all right, he got killed, and he got went and hijacked the party. But in order to maintain that structure, they decided to initiate and implement and sustain a scare tactics. Whether it was David Como and his son getting executed, whether it was going after the guy, talking about how the PRO, something like that, where when you sit there having conversation, people eavesdropping, the next day you go to somebody pick you up. All those things, Boakai is utilizing those things. They started with George Weah coming to the airport, military showing all around, and the police, and just trying to create that intimidation method, because they feel that CDC is a formidable party, the only party that can stand toe to toe with them. So the way to start that is to utilize the same 42-year experience that Joseph Boakai claimed to have, which does not pay any dividend to the Liberian people by intimidating the people. So they intimidated the government, the former president, they're intimidating public officials. They are now going in the community and overrunning people community during the night time. So they are creating the chaos. All these things they're doing, it is a recipe for disaster, but it's still formulating. It's still formulating. It's still formulating. As far as the international community goes, well, Liberians, we have received billions of dollars from the international community. They're not coming back anytime soon. There are other countries in the world that went through war, and today they don't have that training we own. Rwanda, for example, and Liberia went to war back to back in the same era. Today, Paul Kagame is forging ahead. While Liberia, as one of the oldest nations on that continent of Africa, is not being seen as a country of good example, but a country of bad example. People don't like to spend their money into bad situations. So we have political illiteracy, we have the standard illiteracy, and now we have leadership deficiency. You see, Albert, the foundation of our country, when we started the country in 1847, we had no idea. So we allowed one-party system to rule because we're limited in choices. come follow down to President Tubman, 27 years. Oh, we have a leader who we think that when he present himself over and over for a 27-year thing will change. So we struggle with equity distribution of leadership in our country. That collapsed in 1980. And we said, look, we can use the military. Military will put things into place. But the military came and they were not well organized as compared to Jerry Rawlings. They dropped the ball. Then we went to war. We decided to have all the different warring factions. Yeah, maybe we'll have warring faction here and there. One warring faction will be a very good role model that we all will follow. No, they all became a casualty. Then we had interim government. Let's try and see who will be good so we can determine people's character. Maybe the man will want to run again. It did not work. And then we came to our democracy. We said, okay, those who were educated and were disproportionately disenfranchised, the Ellen, the Sawyer, those guys they came and did nothing. They further put the country into debt. Now we are the incoming generation. Jay Reddy then grew up during the dual time. They saw what happened. Mr. Weah came and decided to look a different way. Today we have Boakai, who is the last generation of the baby boomer generation. Nothing he's doing. So with everything we went through today, we are still struggling to find a leadership. Leadership is the vacuum in our country. What the guys are doing is nothing but a selfish intention to benefit themselves. So Liberia at this time need a true leader. We do not have any leader in our country right now. Like you said, E.J. Raw, all the other things, they were trying to gain political relevance, but as the population increased, the amount of the people diverse, and things become very, very difficult for us. So the question here is, where are we heading? Let me give you my theory. You may not like the Albert, but I have to say this, and I'm sure Paul has listened to me. Liberia will not be a better country until 2065. That's a fact. Here's why. From 1930 to 1964, Joseph Boakai, Ellen Johnson in our same range. That is the pioneer generation. From 1965 to 1980, George we are in our group. That is the generation X.
That's my group.
That's your
group.
There you go. And now you see how we are all aging now, right? We are all aging now. And we're seeing things that our parents saw, right? Yeah. All right. Then from 1982 to 1997, that is the millennium generation. All right? That's the millennium generation. I mean the generation X, rather. The generation X. All right? Now, from the generation X, we now have the 2000 to 2015, we have the millennium generation. They are now saying things. Now, the early 2017, 18, we have the Gen Z generation. Mm-hmm. The last generation we have now, that is the hope for Liberia, is the Alpha generation. They started coming on the planet since 2013. They are going to end by the year 2025. By 2065, the child that was born in 2013 is 11 years old today. By 2065, that child will be 52 years old. With the coming in of technology, artificial intelligence, you and I did not experience what we're experiencing here today, such as Facebook, to educate our people. This is what our generation sees. Now, think about a child who is 13 years old now. By 2065, that child will be 52 years old. Do we know what kind of technology will happen that time? That when Liberians, your grandchildren, my grandchildren, your great-grandchildren that live on the other side will start to use that technology and say, you got to do things this way. And it will be seen in real time. And we'll start to change things around. So technology will change things for us. You see how technology is exposing so many things now around the world, whether it is a police shooting, whether it's things happening in Liberia, we're seeing it. Government reacting based on what we see nowadays compared to the Tubman days, the Turbo days, the Doe days. So you have to think about these things here. So these guys today that you see masquerading in the country over there, they are on time. Their time are limited on the face of the planet. So they are not planning for the future. They are only planning for their pocket and their thoughts. That's all they're doing.
I default with that a bit. For the fact that we have the tools as a nation, the Constitution gave us the power to put in and to remove.
Okay.
So the Constitution characteristics, it will put somebody there and malpractices, incompetency, occur. That leadership should be removed. The presidency is a contractual job through a political party that participated in the national elections. So I feel we should act now than to wait for a generation to come. Because as a saying goes, on the old map, that way you could learn to apply a new one.
So,
Okay?
Paul, let me ask you this.
So if we do allow this to continue, when we reach that age of technology, guess what? From an economic sense of view, our nation will be used as farm for people with advanced technology. Presently, it's being tested. I'm telling you the true living thing. Right now in Liberia, more diamonds, more gold is taking out of Liberia than any other country in the world. I challenge that. For anybody to prove me lie. I'm from Rivers. In the area called Bro. If you listen to Boakai visit when the senator from Rivers, Senator Givon, was speaking, he said something like this. The population on here on the south is lesser, but the population is in the rural area of Rivers. And then you say, for example, the plow, because it is a mining area. God be damned. You have mining area in Rivers and no road, no cleaners, and you say it is a mining area nationally. A senator is speaking in the presence of the president, and nobody told no. What makes that area a mining area in Liberia? No road there. Do you know how they take the gold and diamond from there? They got a company in Ghana. They fly in there with the headquarters every day. I'm a son from there. I'm telling you, I'm from Rivers.
So I will wrap it up. Let's get
So when we talk about that age of reach, so you see the market, Liberia is producing gold and diamond is not recorded on our economic statistics. Nobody knows how many gold come from out of Liberia. Their operation started at administration. Okay.
So Albert, what Randy is saying about it?
Paul,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul. I want to come in, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what we need to do is like when the preachers are preaching, they tell you, come forward now and surrender. Surrender for the Lord to take control. We have to come forward now and take our country from the hands of criminals. Other than that, our country will be used by the mafia war. There will be no road, but they will be taking gold and diamond and timber. They will bring some headquarters, yeah, pick up the timber and go.
So
they got to build your national roads. So I want to end right there. We got to do something right now.
Before Rennie come in, you said something about the first branch of government, our legislature, that are so useless. And you're talking about we need to do something now. And that should be the group that's supposed to set the benchmark for something to be done now. It's not happening. And Rennie is telling you, say the group that 13-year-old now, maybe they will see different things in Liberia. So Rennie come in and talk to Awa because
I mean, Awa is entitled to his opinion, he's entitled to his interpretation. But what I would say here is, I don't believe in if. Everything Awa said is if. The if have been going on since the founding of our country. If Joseph Jingibawa leave, we'll have a better day. If Tobo die, we'll have a better day. If we are come to power, we'll have a better day. If Boga come to power, we'll have a better day. And then another thing he said is, it's about time that we do the right thing. Abba, if you walk in a town called Morovia and start to tell people, let us do things this way, from the airport where your passport is being processed, and somebody say, give me $5, and you tell the person, say, show me the policy that says that I need to give you $5. How are you going to be treated in the country? You see, society in Liberia is systemically corrupt. These people got to age out. We took 250 lives thinking that we're going to make things better. It did not work. The residue of people that left, they manifested themselves, they regenerated themselves, they came right back and doing the same thing. So what I'm looking at here is what we call a natural progress. You and I by 2065 will be dead and gone. That is God gift. I know you're not accepting it because it's the reality that you don't want to accept. It's like somebody was telling somebody in 1776 that by 2024 in the United States, Abo will be here as a black man living here. And somebody said, no, Abo can't be here. He can't live here. And a black guy from Africa who can't live here. And we in 1776 or maybe in 1884. No black man can't live here. In Chicago here. No. So I got it, Abo. Because these are things. You see, we as engineers, we are trained to project things. Everything that you saw in our country, if somebody gave you a pen and paper and say, I will go back and check out things that you never saw when you were in our country. Because the thing that you saw that in our country, the thing that you left there will be more than the thing that you see as a change. That tells you that the mind of the people is not ready for change. Technology will change things. You and I, we are not computer savage right now, but we're seeing the progress. People reject change. When computer came to take water right up, people were feeding inside. When cell phone came, people were feeding inside. So when I'm saying this thing here, I don't blame you, Brother Albert, because many people from our society are not trained to think in the future. They're not trained to think in the future. I'm telling you, what I'm saying, I have given the thing thought, a very deep thought. The river you're talking about, I'm sure you're aware of the ball. All right? I have family friends that come from the ball too. Aside from the club. They speak the B. So I'm very familiar with that area. I was even in number 2 district during the war, Pujimita as well. There are things that are taking place in our country, like my brother or Paul said. Why will helicopter fly and come to the ball or to club to take our mineral? I'm an environmentalist. If I were to go over there, because remember, after the war, the reason we went to war, we said the Congo people were bad to all the people about it. The people came by and told us, say, when you elect your president, after Chancellor leave, you need to decentralize. Superintendent should be elected by the people. If that had happened, you gave me the problem now and said, look, I'm an environmentalist. I make policy here. Let's drive and go straight to River Says. That superintendent is elected by the people. Let me write a policy that will prohibit people from coming outside of our border. Is that happening today? Even though we went to war, the people told us, well, this is how we should start our new page. There are people still in the system that are saying we cannot decentralize. How do we get rid of people? Go back to war again? People say, no, we don't want war. We kill 250,000 people. So we have to get that long projection that people with that mindset, they will die out. You see, dinosaurs used to reign on the earth before, right? Do we see dinosaurs around today? No. That's why people protect in the environmental world, we call animals that are very scarce. We call them endangered species. We should not keep endangered politicians around. So by the time we reach 2065, they will be dead and gone. The new phase of people will come. But I got it, Paul. I got it, Albert. It's very strange to you. You have to process it. And there are a lot of data associated with that for you to accept. So your opinion is an opinion, but I'm telling you, it's not going to change anytime soon. Look at CDC right now. CDC saying that over there, they're acting as if to say that they are okay. Put George we are into power tomorrow. You will start to regret Boakai again. The person that are going to bring the change, the fact that the people in the country, they are not willing to listen to you and I. You know why many people are watching here? Because they know J. Randy. I don't eat crap with him. A George we are playing football in Europe. What make you think about your relative in Morovia cannot have a soccer academy to build their skill and go play football in Europe too? But when I go say that thing, they will say no. What make you think that the flag that Boakai is flying around, his children enjoying the luxury? What make you think Akara's great daughter, who graduated from St. Joseph University in Philadelphia, what make Akara great thing that the people around him cannot see their children going through? Only when they need these children, then they bring it around. But when they get to power, then they forget what he's doing. That mindset, it will continue to go until we reach 2065. But then many of us will become casualty to the grave site. That when things will start to change. So I understand, and I understand this is a new theory that I'm bringing. So many people don't, people resist change. People don't like change. Everybody wants to live forever. Even Jesus Christ, before he was crucified, he said, when he got here, he can see me and said, Lord, can you let the thing go away? Because you got to die. So when I'm saying the thing, our human instinct will say, I need to live. But that's why it is. You cannot live from here to carry the principle that you are guided by here. And that one reason why I always ask Liberian, why do you want me to go back to Liberia? Let me ask you the last question. You've been asking me a question, but let me ask you. Let's say you say, Randy, go to Liberia, right? Go to Liberia. And I go to the ministry. I said, gentlemen, starting next week, you got to be at 8 o'clock. Anybody late, you're going to get a verbal warning. 2 lateness, you fire. Number 2, when you come here, no cell phone uses. I want to see your standard of work. From 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, I want to see what you're doing. I want to see that thing listed on your door. I want to see it. By the end of 3 months, I want to see your SMART goals. Do you think I will live in that country for long?
Well, looking at it from a scientific economic view, you gotta start from the root. What causes lateness? You have to know that. Whether they got the economic strength to report to work on time, whether the provisions are there by public transportation, we have to know.
Okay,
if
so
you don't know,
time out. Let me ask you a question. In other countries, before you take a job, what are the questions they can ask you? Do you have a reliable ride?
Yes.
Okay. If you ask somebody that in Liberia, do they have a reliable ride?
They will tell you no.
Okay. If you don't have a reliable ride, then the job is time for you.
But nobody in the country has.
I don't care. And these people who have been to work on the time, I don't care.
Okay, but then you got to match the condition, the economic condition, the standard of life.
I have to move the country forward. I have to move the country forward. You see, the simple thing you bring in is the same thing that continue to push the country that way.
No,
we must take an approach that will be very stringent. Gerald Rodden killed people in our country to move Ghana forward. If we keep having sympathy on people, you see, our society have been brought up to just be begging. There are times that you have to improvise. How long should we be just say, oh, let's better the man condition. No, I want a job to be done. Are you looking at performance or are you going to open some kind of Hail Mary, save my grace thing? No. If you think that the job is too close for you, far away, then find another job. I want my job to be done. I want the job.
Let me come in there. Firstly, with all you said, with technology bringing the evolution in politics,
there you go again.
The leadership of the country that politics. In political science.
But let me ask you this. I'm going to engage you now. In the United States here.
Yeah. But let me land, then you can ask me. Let me land.
Other country. So Africa, Kenya, politics run policy. Policy tell you that you need to come to work. The man who run the politics, when he gets to power, he wants to deliver for the people. So he take that platform and turn it into a policy. Policy say you should be here on time. Policy say you should perform. Policy say you should do this. We only have 12 hours to see daylight. And within that 12 hours, we only have 8 hours to perform. So because somebody got right, the person coming every day, oh, I'm late. Yeah, okay, come anytime you come. What about the deliverable? How are we going to measure our performance?
Let me address that issue. Well, firstly, I want to erase some of the things that you said. We have to wait for the normal course of change to take place. No.
Well, you talk to me. Let me hold you there. All right.
No, but give me time. Let me land.
You come there. 177 years. Don't you think it's a waste for 177 years? I don't know about you, but if a country wastes 177 years and don't teach anything, and from now to 2065, with the help of technology, you want to deny that? You are a victim. I'm a victim of that 177 years that brought us to where we are today. Therefore, we have to be very optimistic and not pessimistic about things, about the future. We have to look, we have to believe it.
Politics are science. First of all,
politics is a science, but
in policy,
All right.
Politics does not exist. Our
So
politics
No.
does not exist.
Give me chance. Let me learn. Let the audience get the difference here.
Go ahead.
First of all the countries that are being progressive in the world, there have been uprising and political turmoil for change. Great Britain, one of the kings of Great Britain body was put on the street and boys
Look at
ate
the
it.
result. Look at the
No,
result.
give me chance. In France, we know the revolution. In this great
They were
United
in the
States,
16th century. They were in the 17th
no,
century.
give me chance. The great
All right.
United States were owned by Great Britain. It was a colony. But the people that left from Great Britain that came over here, they revolted against the order of Great Britain to be on this land. And they asked the French to help them. So you have to change society by the power and the will of the people. We can't wait for technology. You don't do
We
it.
are
It
trying
doesn't
everything, my
apply.
brother. You see the thing
Now,
you're talking about the thing you're talking about, the French Revolution, the American resistance, those things happened in the 17th century when Liberia was still part of those nations. So those nations had transgressed. I mean, they have made progress. Where is Liberia? There are countries in Europe that are 177 years old. Look at their current status today. Liberia is 177 years old. Look at the current status. Is still talking about politics? No, it's not going to help. It's not going to help.
Because education was not provided, the people
right.
who did it, they
So
succeeded.
let me come in.
I told you that the Kiwi party it was a soda party.
Everything I'm talking, we'll talk about it, right? Let's assume that from 1847 from 1847 to 1947, the 100 years, if we never had no education, but from 1946 up to present, how can we still have high level of illiteracy in our country? What is the performance of the ministry? Who's setting goals to reduce the rate of illiteracy?
There were no plans.
100 years.
The rate of Liberia was Liberian.
What are we doing?
Only 1957.
So you have people who are not visionary. You have people who are not visionary. They are not prepared for the future.
All right, guys. For the sake of our audience, I like the interaction between you and Albert, but let's get back to track. We got about maybe about 20 more minutes here, if you don't mind. So let's get back to track. Just said Newman Boakai government. You said something. I want to pick it back to what you said about if you have in America, you have the thing, rich people have a place called a range where you have dog, but the dog cannot leave that range, right? And America is still on Liberia.
True.
My question to you here, history tells us, remember in the 80s, some of us were young coming up. Because I was born the same year with George Weah, so I can tell you that time. Turbo went to China in the late 70s. And you know, today we got the SKD Stadium that the Chinese built under the Turbo Initiative. And what happened when he came from China? It didn't take long, he was overthrown. Today we noticed we're being told that 50 delegates have gone to Asia, in Malaysia, and going to China. And if we stay owned by America, give me your thought on this. What would be running through your mind? History can repeat itself because history tells us that past, present, and current. There's something that Liberia should be fear of or something. Because I was talking about that change.
Yeah, that's a very valid question you asked. President Boakai, the United States have already figured out that he's not the change they wanted. He's not a change. Here's why. One, President Boakai did not campaign with a central message of bringing War Economic Crimes Code. However, he invited Dr. Allen White, a former field officer for David Crane, who prosecuted Charles Taylor. He wants to make new for himself. He enjoyed what he did under David Crane. It motivated him. He came back to the U.S. and got his law degree. Now he's trying to score his part of political point by going back to Liberia and see how he can establish the War Economic Crime Code to make record for himself. Now, he went to Boakai and he asked Boakai a very sensitive question because he is being supported by this guy from New Jersey. I just forgot his name. This representative from New Jersey. Now, he met Boakai and in the public, in the presence of the media and asked Mr. Boakai, why did you call me here? It was an evidence you were building. It was a case you were building against Boakai. Thank you very much. That Chris Smith, his name is Chris Smith.
Yeah.
Yes, Chris Smith, I've been very involved with Liberians. When I was at Mercer County in New Jersey, I got to meet him once. So he said, he said to Allen West, you know you and I been with the War and Economic Crown Code thinking. There was an assurance that Boakai was going to start the initiation of the War and Economic Crown Code. The legislature then went, they signed some kind of white paper, because in order to carry on that War and Economic Crown Code, the process go where the executive will have to agree on what they describe as the white paper. And then the legislative branch will start the process. The legislative went through the process. Boakai started to delay because of some political influence. The United States figured out that Boakai is not up to the task. Only when Boakai was getting ready to come to Dallas, he decided to sign that. And the people say, you can't fool us. We know what you're up to. So when Mr. Boakai came here, he was now welcome to Washington, D.C. to meet any delegates. Lena Thomas Griffith, he passed by hello, and he went back home. Nothing from that activities in Dallas took place. The people are less interested in Boakai because United States' number one goal is to implement the War and Economic Code. It's the number one goal. I'm getting the feedback. I don't know who that feedback comes from. People are the War and Economic Code. I'm okay. I don't know who that feedback comes from. I'm okay. All right.
Yeah, Randy.
Okay. So he came to the United States. He didn't get any DC pleasantry, nothing like that. He now went back to South Korea and allied to the United States. He again did not get any pleasantry from that era, not back home. Before he went to, he came to Atlanta to attend the Black Caucus. Not a single local Democrat in that state was at that meeting. The people communicate with each other. He left and went back. Clarence Jackson, who run the OK Money Rush, had a guy who came from the State Department. He had a conversation with Ellen. Prior to that, he had another conversation with another lady who was behind the War and Economic Crime Code. They never did those things. The people figure out that Joe Boakai is not up to the task that the United States want. So right now, Boakai is going from one Asian country to another. Now he's going to China to go meet a competitor of America. Joe Boakai is not working with America, and it's going to be less difficult for him. America will not flex her muscle right now because she knows that wherever Joe Boakai goes, even the United States, the Chinese know that Liberia is technically owned by the United States. There's so much they cannot do. One thing you remember when we are then came from Asia, they came with a natural resources swap, right? Where we give our stuff. The World Bank that operate from the United States, the IMF that operate from the United States, they told Joshua, don't try that. The Chinese will put you into debt. They had to do it in Zambia and other countries. Before we was asked to come to the CIA headquarters, it was because Russia was trying to invade most of the African countries. As you can see, Togo, Burkina Faso today, we are giving that warning to not mess around. Boakai does not understand international policy. That's why he been bamboozled around. But everywhere Boakai goes, he's not going to get anything that will create job or economic opportunity because the U.S. is monitoring everything that Boakai does. Until Boakai come back to the U.S. and say, I'm willing to work with you guys. I want you guys to lead the way. Taylor said that. Taylor one time said, if you want to be a good president of Liberia, build relationship with Washington. The reason Tottenham was in power for 27 years is because he built relationship. The reason Ellie stayed over there, for 12 years is because she built relationship. We was caught between rock and hard places. I don't establish the World Economic Crime Code. When I win, I will establish the World Economic Crime Code. If I lose, that's it. And that's why we are quickly jump to give Boakai that touch when the result came. Because you listen to the election commissioner, we are declare Boakai the winner even before the election commission, because it is my understanding that we are at show Washington that if I win, I will establish the World Economic Ground School. He is afraid, so he touched over the Boakai. Now Boakai has received it, he tried to play around. So as I explaining here, a lot of things will happen very soon. Back to you.
A lot of things will happen very soon. So what do you make of these 50 delegates that went with him? We know that during the World Cup, we have traveled with 30 delegates. It became a whole house. So why did you take whole 50 person with you? Economically, the country will be stronger.
There you go, Paul. Liberia is low on cash. Our natural resources is not attracted to the world. All right? Our natural resources is not attractive anymore. President Boakai is working harder rather than working smarter. Would you rather send few smart people to save costs, or would you rather want to go on a trip? Presidential travel is expensive. And one of the things that keeping our people in the blind is because when these people travel, they don't optimize their allowance, their cost of travel. So our people are not getting the education of this thing to see how much these people are spending out there. That is another lack of financial transparency. Mr. Boakai has gone to major meetings. We are not any result. Mr. Boakai has a health issue. Traveling long distances has some impact as well. So what are some of the smart ways? Let's forget about the health issue. Smart way is, what is the National Investment Commission goal under the arrest program? How do we know that our goal is going to really deliver for the people? If there is a conference happening in any part of the world, Boakai can attend one or two, but not everyone, because they have to save costs. It will be cheaper when a minister and a commission traveling for the country. They already have the agenda. They already briefed the president. The president can be on the phone to get follow-up, update, and question like that. Instead of President Boakai traveling, get the Minister of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, get the National Investment Commission, get people who they are liaison with in this country, that when they get there, they'll be able to present what they see as an attractive industry in the country. Always make sure you get a slide, presentation, prepare yourself, show this thing to the president. When we get there, here are the list of attendees. Here is our agenda we're going to present. Do a brainstorming. Go through all these processes. Let the president get a comfort. When you're on the ground, the president knows exactly what you're going to be doing. That way you cut down costs and you work very smart. But President Boakai has no idea at all. People only elected Boakai because of his age. They did not elect Boakai because of his experience. Because there's nowhere that Mr. Boakai works where he used that as a case study to say, I can do this job. He only got elected by his age, and he had been misinforming the people. So the 42 years that you see today is the 42-year blunders. After 225 days today, Liberia, since January 22nd, Liberia has been parked as an old car because the Liberian people decided to take the roadmap of the car. They took the keys of the car and they took the car and gave it to a driver who was parked for 12 years. So since January 2024, Liberia has been parked. Nothing has worked in the country. All the conversation we have here is not about deliverable. It's not about progress. It's about conflict and conflict. That's what all about conflict. We are not talking about Boakai deliverable. You follow me, Paul? We are not talking about any successful thing here. Because there's nothing to discuss as far as Boakai plan goes. We don't know Boakai roadmap. So how can we discuss Boakai plan? Nothing. So the 50 people, they are just wasting money. In the corporate world, we call that waste spending. Waste spending. You're not bringing result, but you continue to waste money out there.
Wow. Albert, you want to come in because we've got a few minutes here before Jay Rennie leave from here?
Regarding Boakai's trip, You see, when you can't play fool with anybody. If you are not a laborer, no, a revolutionary leader to bring dynamic changes into your country, you can't deal with country like China. You have to be a puppet to be controlled by the United States and the Western world. You stay quietly in your country. Okay? So I remember there was an interview, if I'm not mistaken, whether Boakai was in that room, but the Chinese told the Liberian leader at the time, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, that they could help Liberia to overcome its problem in terms of infrastructure, especially the road. So the Chinese president said to her, we can borrow you money to build your road from east to west, from north to south. Then the connecting roads, it will be easier to undertake. Your people are hardworking. And I learned that discussion was favored by Boakai. He went close to the Chinese. The Chinese even gave him some offer, and he took the set of what we call in Liberia or around the world could be known as the merry-go-round children playground tap, and he built it. He built it in his village. Built it in his village. Now, for him to take our meager resources and put 50 persons on board to travel around the world to conferences that he cannot make impact, because you have to have some progressive nature in you. Why is it that you want to do? Are you ready to deal with the Chinese? Are you ready? You ready to Sierra Leone, Burkina Faso, Mali? If you are not, you can't make those approaches. You can do the little thing around. You will send your foreign minister or some people from Ministry of Commerce, Investment Commission, good governance, etc. So you can sit in there and study the problem that is facing the country, which way to go. That the technocrats tell you. You have age, your hearing is lacking. So some of the places that you go in, you're not getting anything out of it. It's just a way to get the money out of the government coffers and put it in the private pockets. So the trade has no economic impact on Liberia. There's somebody said some arrangement of work that the Chinese who are done in Liberia were already signed by the Liberian government under the past administration. The Chinese were in Buchanan. I know I hear that Boakai is about to source up the posts of Buchanan, Sano, I think one other area in the southeastern. But the president does not have to go on this trip. So it's just a waste, but all I can say there.
So it's a waste. And J. Randy answered that. So we should watch out. So if the US stay on Liberia and you go to China, that means they can put them into your administration. And then this is where we're heading. So Liberians should embrace themselves for we got long for 5 years because we already this year already end. We got 4 more months.
Yeah, and Paul, just to add to that.
Let me clarify that. At that point in time, we can't claim our country ownership belongs to any country on the face of the earth.
So
because we are traditionally friendly. Yes. We are tied by blood. Yes. But we are independent. We are an independent nation. United States will not take its taxpayer money to build your country. There's no history of any country in the world to show that our country was built by the United States. No.
Yeah, I mean,
because
so Albo,
at the beginning of our Civil War,
let me hold you there.
The intelligence of Liberia that I knew, they moved here to Washington, D.C., begging to stop that war. They did not listen to us. They went in the Gulf, the area of the oil.
Let me say something before Randy come in here. When Liberian ambassador in the UN, when they vote along America. They never go against them. So in reality, yeah, they own by us. Everything they tell us, they say that's what we do. Rennie come in. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I think what we call a surface independence is where I think Abba is operating, and I don't have no issue with that. Until Abba become president or foreign minister and sit in high level meetings, now when you will understand. I have sat with people at the highest level. I have seen things. They may say you are independent. That's fine. But there are decisions that you cannot make without them. All right? The World Bank cannot go to South Africa and say, you all got to do roads. The South Africa says, no, we want to do this. Because we are economically dependent. That's number one. We are a lazy set of people. We profess to be a sovereign nation, but we don't have the capability to do these things. Number two, our territory, that RIA, the Firestone, the Freeport. Not many people know that place is owned by the United States. The US had a deal for those places. They had a deal for those places. But the owner, you remember the scenario that you started with the ranch? The owner opened the main door of the house and said, go play out there. The brother talk about the war in, how do you call it, in the Middle East when Liberia were going over there. What value does Liberia have on America that Liberia depends on America that she would take her forces to go fight in Liberia? First of all, they never wanted to go in there. They never wanted to. So whoever came to cry for, y'all get rid of Doe, they never wanted to. But when George Bush came, after they were trying to get rid of Taylor, and they sent the forces, what George Bush did, Taylor must leave. That was America's interest at that time. So you got to be able to play with these political big hands game to understand the reality of things. But I got it. That's how they fool many Liberians that Liberia is a free country. Liberia is a free country. We are not independently free. You can believe it all you want. We are not independently free. That's why you see when people talk about African countries, they don't mention Liberia because they know Liberia is still an honest to America. But it's just that America will come out to tell people, oh yeah, you guys are free country, you guys are this. We are not. We are still under the armpit of America. All right? How many times people are not neglected? When talking to power, what did he do? He keep Russia out of there. He keep Libya out of there. Later on, Doe came by and said, oh, America said we should pay their debt. What happened to Doe? What happened to Taylor? Taylor said, oh, nobody will take our sovereignty from us. What happened to that sovereignty? He locked up in jail. People who listen to America, they have a very good life expectancy in the presidency. Those who don't listen, history will tell. So all these statistics are things that people need to carefully examine to understand how the politics work. People will not come and tell you that you are free. In America, somebody tells you, oh, you own a house, they house for you, go out there. They house for my house. You don't own no house here. No house on a 30-year mortgage. When you default, it's gone. That's the civil war of Liberia. You are a leader, you become intransigent to the United States, you are on a town bomb.
You're on a town bomb.
Yes.
Yeah, on a time. So to our viewers that following up for the first time, this is a bottom line discussion. We're based in Europe. If you join us for the first time, kindly click on the like button. We're here every Tuesday and Friday.
I need to get out of here now.
We just get 2 more minutes, then you're out.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm just talking to our viewer. For those of you following for the first time, this is a bottom line. We also have an online 24/7 radio. You can subscribe to our app. Is on the how do you call it? App Store is free. If you're using iPhone, it's free. Android phone is free, so you can do that. So, Jay Ronnie, it's good having you here. When will you be back here again?
Well, it depends. I mean, we are gradually going into the autumn season. Summer is done, so more time will be spent. My activities is really stretching out now. Just recently, I was in your territory. I went to Georgia on a business trip, but I kept myself on a cover because it was the ENC people. Then they don't let to see me at all. So, but my responsibility is expanding. I have location that I manage in New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, Florida, and then Texas. So oftentimes we're making trips, but I'm hoping that we can backfill those areas. Once we backfill this area, then I will start having time to myself. But at any given time, if you see the slot open and you
Right.
need me, just let me know. I can improvise the time. So it's always better for you to reach out to me as well.
Right. So on that note, we want you to kind of give us,
Uh-huh.
say something before
No,
you.
no, go ahead.
On that note, we want you to kind of give us your parting comment overview of our discussion tonight, and maybe to talk to us.
Yeah, so I would like to thank every one of you guys. Special thanks to you and to Brother Albert. Next meeting you. Albert, by the way, I have good friends from Riverside. Riverside is to my heart here. And the more we interact, you get to know. But Riverside is a very beautiful place for me. And the whole Basel Bell are people who, in fact, I survived during the war in that whole Basel Bell area. So kudos to the Basel people. In fact, the old man who take care of me, she just passed. She was like my war mother from number 2 district. She just passed at the age of 84. And so I will be reaching out to the family this week to see how I can send my contribution. But I would like to say thank you. I love the interaction today. I love challenges. I love disagreement because leadership has taught us that we must work with disagreeable people. Many people in Liberia, they always agree to things. That's why things don't work out. And you must always agree to have a better game. The opposite team disagree with your home team. That's what makes the game enjoyable. So in leadership, we also need to have disagreeable people. Because when somebody disagrees with you on the team, guess what? When you go to play, the man who disagree with you during the practice ground is a 10. I want to make a score, or I'm sorry for that other team over there. So people who disagree on different platforms is for a common reason and to achieve a common goal. And that's why I love to get into area where we disagree and all the time. But the message, the conversation, great conversation. I really enjoyed, and I can't wait to be back again another time to have more interaction, more question. And I just need time so that I can be able to adjust. So that, Brother Abbott, thank you so much. All right, thank you. And Brother Paul, thank you as well too.
And before you go, I saw somebody wrote here say ANC people are forgiving you, so you need to
forgiving me or what? Because let me say this. All right, Abbott, let me say, Brother Abbott, I want you to listen to it. Let me tell you the story, Abbott. Very interesting story. I would burn my own time if Paul gave me the time. All right. So yeah, what happened here, right? So in 2022, I was invited to Florida by Mr. Cummings. And I went and told Mr. Cummings, you sent for me to be here through one of your representatives. I'm not here to joke. What I experienced from CDC, I'm not here to play hardball with you. I need to have direct access to you when it comes to strategizing. That was one of the biggest mistakes that I made. Mistake number one. Mr. Cummings accepted that conversation. We have photo to that. When I came back on a Sunday like this, Mr. Cummings sent me an email, a text message, and told me thank you. He said, whatever you need, I'll work with you. So here, as I go back and forth, I started to use my strategy whenever I'm on my way to work, talking about Cummings, how I met Cummings. Some people in the party started getting jealous. The next thing I look, when I tried reaching out to Cummings, the phone line got black. Later on, I got to know that there was a lady they called Mariah who decided to intercept the call. The reason she did that is because this guy they call Prophet Key, who always insult people's mother, on the show with the guy they call Stanton Witherspoon, instead of her asking tough questions, she decided to get the guy slap on the wrist, which I was not happy about. I said, you need to set a tune. From what I gathered, it was based on that reason. I tried reaching out to Cummings. I said, Mr. Cummings, I need to talk to you. Mr. Cummings did not get ahead. My strategy was to start engaging the Liberian community in different languages, dialects. I contacted 2 districts in District 11 and District 17 in Mosquito County. I was told that Mr. Cummings present was not there. That was my assessment I did. I was reaching out to Mr. Cummings to get a comment. I got blocked. Next thing I started to know, people started telling me, oh, we can't trust the mayor, we can't trust the mayor. I told them, if Cummings win that 7% he got in 2017, then you're not coming J. Randy. And for sure, it came to pass. So when they say they forgive me, I want you to ask them, under what condition are they forgiving me? Because they persecuted me or they dislike me. That's what I wanted to understand. And like George Weah, like Cummings, I don't need nothing from these people. What I need is what better for Cummings children, what better for George Weah children, what better for Boakai children. Through their policy should be better for the children of Liberia. It's not about me. It's not about you, Paul. It's not about Charlie. Our children live here. They're getting their education. They're getting better off. Do I want to retire and go back to Liberia where around my community I had a lot of children who are unemployed and they see me as a target to come and rob me over there, and when they see me, they kill me? I don't want that kind of society. So I'm into Liberian politics, not for myself. I already built myself a career here. All I ask God for is long life to continue to educate the people back home. That's why you see CDC don't get along with me. Samuel Tour and myself went to Thomas together, who graduated. He came to America. I met him. I said, Tour, remember we used to eat burger weed? We used to take all together and you find a minister today and you acting like that to our friends then? We did not get along. We did not get along. We did not get along. I'm just giving you guys the facts. We never got along. The day before he got censured, he called me, "Mommy, I'm coming to America." I said, "Good for you." The next day, the censure came out. I've been calling him. He doesn't pick up the phone. When child don't hear, they feel. I feel for him because we all want to invest in our children's future. To have a visa restriction on your children, that's the last thing you want. But they don't listen. Paul, I'm a Liberian, but I don't think I'm a Liberian. God bless you and I, along with Albert, to come to America. Our blessing. What can we give our people back home? That's why you see, for me, I don't want to work in government. The talent I have, I want to go back home to provide services to the young people. There are people who want to do different things in their life. How do we provide those services? Not just we are come here, oh, don't bring the man here, don't bring the man here. No. Look at Accra's grading. They men decided to leave from Liberia, go to Paris to go have a wedding. The people in a community, instead of bringing the people together, let the people eat and be happy and say, oh, man, yeah, my wife and myself go on honeymoon. Honeymoon can be taken by anybody anywhere. It's a tradition that we all know about, right? We decided to go to Paris, had a wedding there, meet people. Now he's not in power now. He coming around now, bringing the same people around him. That's why Brandy don't like. And that's why CDC and myself, like I told Sedition, if I come on my show or on your show and say, oh, Paul, Albert, George Weah called me and I think we're together. That means that whatever George Weah is doing wrong, I will come and tell you. But is he going to do it? It's to be determined. Thank you guys so much.
It's to be determined. It's good to have you, J. Randy. I mean, we like your openness, and this is why it is in politics. We both were on the opposite side. We work together, one separate way, but it's one country we come from, and in Liberia, everybody are interconnected no matter how. So we don't take that to heart. And it was good having you here, and we want to see you again. This is where we discuss issues, and that's what we call the show, The Bottom Line.
Thank you.
Yes, great having you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was good show. We're here tomorrow with the full package. Everyone is here tomorrow. For those of you who follow up, can you join us tomorrow the same time? We'll have a full house. We'll be having a lot of discussion on what is happening in Malaysia and China. So tomorrow we'll be here. Your parting comment, please.
Oh, I thought our guests were going to be there because I want to thank our guests for coming in, even though I default with him on some of the points that he profiled when it comes to the actual control of leadership of the country. I feel when Jesus Christ came into the world, those who did not accept him, even the Jewish people, they recognize Jesus as a revolutionary in religion. The Jewish people who up to now, they do not believe Jesus as the Son of God. What they will tell you is, they will tell you, say, he was a revolutionary in the religious circle. So I believe in revolutions. When people hear the word, so now they feel revolution like violence. No, You have to always study society for changes. You cannot give up. In history, people like Aristotle and Shakespeare, Herodotus, all of these philosophers from Greece and Great Britain and believe that slavery was a class of society. There had to be a class of slaves and class of rich people. Okay? That was a concept of society. They did not believe that a society these days, the United States and other places, people will be speaking of human rights, human equality, and all of these things. But because other people sacrifice their time and lives, so today we have freedom extended. Yes, you may look at United States when you're outside of it that everything they do here is, let me put it away, imperialistic, bureaucratic. They will not change their position on issues. No, there are people here who fight for the freedom of the countries. They tell you we don't have to control them. We don't have to police them. That you were here Trump talking these ones. And of course, the 4 years of Trump, you didn't see him interfering. I said this to say, society had to move forward. Where there is bad, we had to force it away from us. We got to take it up. Our Constitution is a legal weapon that we have to use to place and protect leadership and to remove and protect our state. If we put those people there under the Constitution and they are against every norm of the society, we have to move them. The nation can rise. It does not have to be the military. Liberia can remain stand still until a leadership comes to power at any time by the popular will of the people. Other societies have done it to get better. The great United States, they were here. People of our culture who were born here, they told them they're not citizens and they will never be citizens of this state. They do not have right to vote, but it stood the test of time. They fought during the formation of our own country, Liberia. The only way you will be free in the United States was to agree to go to Liberia. Other people insisted that Malcolm X said, no, we'll be here. Okay. So there always had to be a revolt by the people to make it straight. So Liberia needs to come together and say no to bad governance.
Great. Liberia need to come together and say no to bad governance. Thank you, Kwame Moore. And to our viewers, thanks for being with us. Tomorrow we're back at the same time and also here on Friday. So join us tomorrow, 7 p.m. Liberia time, 9 o'clock Central European time, and 8 o'clock UK time. So we want to leave you on this note with a beautiful song. Say this is just to promote Liberian artists. So say thank you all for following us and hope to see you all. And if you joining us for the first time, kindly click on the like button so when we come or you will be automatically notified. On that note, I will say good night, and this song will take us home.
Boy.
If we're pregnant, speak up.
Only records, Now you bad liquor on that what you want you to don't can show yourself. Got plenty dancing, now you dancing, you get happy. I say don't can show yourself. You using Chani, Mr. Chani, I say to never bad, don't can show yourself. You say you jump for your sling on a papa bob, I say don't can show yourself. You don't get money, you want eat shawarma, eat some pizza, don't can show yourself.